So if you want a document workspace, how do you get it? Well, you'll need a couple of things here. One, and most importantly, you'll need the right permission. To create a document workspace, you need to have the ability to create a site inside SharePoint. The thing to be careful here is you may have that ability in one part of SharePoint, but not in another part. Well, how can you tell? It's actually very simple. Go into an existing SharePoint site, find the Site Actions menu, and if you have the ability here to create a new site, meaning you have the option New Site under Site Actions, then you can probably do it. If you don't have that option, well, you need to check with someone who can control those permissions. Typically, find someone who's got one permission level higher than you, and they may be able to grant that for you. Now, right now, if I talk about creating a document workspace, and I am talking about making a SharePoint site, remember a workspace is a site in SharePoint. At this point, I have to be in an existing SharePoint site. And we'll talk about where the first SharePoint site comes from a little later on. But I'm in this case, a simple team site. I'm going to click Site Actions, New Site. And this opens up an option here. Now, you may actually have a slightly different look to this. This is the old school classic SharePoint site creation page. If you have Silverlight installed, you may see a slightly different page, and I'll show you that in a little while. So it's asking me here, give it a title. What do you want this to be called? Well, if it's a document workspace, you probably want to call it based on whatever the document is that you're creating. So it might be something like the business plan for Olivia Restaurant. You can give it a description, that's optional. The URL name, well, what you'll see here will be based on where you were when you said, I want to make a new site. And in fact, this is the URL of the site I was in, ldcsharepoint.com/sites/classic. And I might just put under here, I have to type something. So let's say Olivia. You could put a space in this bar here. I typically don't. I like to leave it lowercase. That's definitely just a personal bias here. I don't like to use spaces, even though you can, because they'll look a little weird in the URL address bar. They have to turn into %2 signs. So I tend to leave it just simple. And then down here we have select a template. This is why I talk about team sites first, because the team site is the default site creation in SharePoint. That's not the one I want. I could say blank site, but I'm going to say document workspace, and it even gives me a description. A site for colleagues to work together on a document. Gives me a document library, a task list, and a links list. Okay, that'll do. Then below this, I have the option for user permissions. What do I want to do? Use the same permissions as the parent site. So if I was a reader of the parent site, I'll be a reader of this document workspace. If I was a contributor on the parent site, I'll be a contributor on the workspace. If I was an owner, meaning I had all permissions on the parent site, I'll have all permissions here. I'm going to leave all those options as default. So really all I've done here is give it a title, give it a little bit of a URL based on what the existing one was, select the document workspace template, come all the way down and click Create. Bang. We have a new document workspace created. And that's the intention. Like any other SharePoint site, document workspaces are easy to make and easy to use. It's been created here with the default lists and libraries, shared documents, announcements, tasks, and links. I can customize this if I find this useful. More typically, you find document workspaces don't have an awfully long lifespan, so when you're done with them, you probably just end up getting rid of this entire workspace and then make another one for another project.